Okay, just a quick video talking about tank size and what you can do with the tank. You can see I've got a lot of different sizes of tanks in here. There's tanks that rather than referring to them as how many gallons they are, I'll talk about how big the floor space is, because to me that's the most important thing in cichlid tanks, is how much floor space you have. So forgive me for doing this video right now, right after feeding, because it takes quite a while for the things to settle down on my tanks after feeding them. A lot of the food that I use causes a lot of food fragments to float around, so you'll have to bear with the muckiness of the water right now. So here we go. I'll show you some sizes of tanks that you can do and be successful with cichlids. So first of all, there's this 3-foot tank here. I've got a couple of 3-foot tanks here, and we quite often refer to them as 40-gallon or 40-gallon breeder. Believe it or not, both of these tanks were sold to me as 40-gallon tanks, and yet the upper tank has about 3 inches greater floor space, and that's why they call it a 40 breeder, because you got the full 18-inch front to back depth on this one. Whereas this one I think was about 14 inches, kind of an odd size. So in any case, the 3-foot tank is really good for raising young cichlids. You can see I've got a fair number of peacocks in here. I've got German reds, I've got some hybrid peacocks, and some Benga peacocks, just a lot of cool young fish growing out. Only a couple have got any color. So in terms of length, they're about probably maximum size of about 2 inches, about 3-4 centimeters, 4 centimeters maybe. So over here on this one here, I've just got some females of a particular species that I do not want to get mixed up with anything else. So I probably could house twice as many in this tank than I do, but for the moment I just have to keep these females by themselves, because I'm afraid if I get them mixed up with other peacocks, I'll lose track of what I've got. The females are just so hard to tell apart. So now when you go to the 4-foot tanks here, as you see I've got a couple of 4-footers. These are referred to locally as 75 gallons, but they have a 4-foot length and a 18-inch depth, much like the top 3-foot tank here that's got the 18-inch depth as well. 18-inch depth is better by a lot than the 12-inch depth that you get in a lot of 55, 65 gallon that type. So think of the floor space as being your #1 priority for cichlids, because that is their territory. They are nesting, building pits for spawning, sometimes creating territories, and it's all about ground space. So not that much different with people. So on these 4-foot tanks, they're 18-inch depth, and they are pretty good for medium-sized cichlids and for fairly crowded tanks like these ones are. But if you were to try to put maybe, just say 10 cichlids in here, or Mbuna that aren't very crowded, you'd probably have an all-out war with deaths occurring all the time. This tank here on the bottom is almost exclusively females. There's probably about 4 males mixed in with this group that will eventually be moved out. If you put a male in a tank with a whole bunch of females, it's very likely that it will start to color up and start to show its potential color. And also, if you put a lot of males together here, you can get a lot that'll color. Like these are really starting to color up. I've got some Eureka jakes and some lemon jakes and a few randoms like that blue guy there. They are mostly getting color. So anyway, so the 4-foot tank is also a good kind of intermediate size for cichlids, and you can do a lot. I'm pretty sure these fish here, if I were to put them here for another year or so, they'd be okay, but not ideal. So, and this is where you would want to graduate eventually, if possible, to a 6-foot tank. And forgive me for this tank right now, it is this substrate and these fish are just really super cloudy today. So in any case, the 6-foot tank with an 18-inch floor depth makes for a pretty ideal tank for most cichlids. Not every cichlid's the same. You can see these Tanganyikans mixed with a few Malawi star sapphires are doing okay in this tank. Not that you don't have conflict. I put a few other fish in here, some giant Danios to try and keep the aggression down a little bit and give them a target, a fish that could swim around fast, escape, and hang out in the mid-water. So this tank's doing fairly well, I'd say, overall. But still, there's complications. If you're keeping cichlids, there's always complications. So you've got to be prepared for that. And then, if you were to go to an even more ideal for a fully stocked, heavily stocked tank, you might want to consider the 6-foot tank with the 24-inch floor, which these two tanks have. So because of that additional depth going from the 18 to the 24 inches front to back, you have a fair amount more potential as far as territory, and I get a lot of breeding on this tank. You see this female Venustus is holding. We get her to come look at us, but yeah, she's pretty shy. But she's definitely got a mouthful of babies there. And over here I've got a blue dolphin that's doing the same thing somewhere. So definitely, there she is over there. So yeah, in a tank of this size, you'll probably have some breeding. That does complicate things, of course. And you'll see this this male Venustus over here is still a very young male. He's only about, I want to say, maybe 5 inches long or so. Maybe only 4 actually. But he has actually killed off one of my hybrid Victorians in a mating situation. So you do occasionally even have a fish fatality, even in a big tank. So the 210s are a nice size. They'll run you, I'd say, on a really good sale in US dollars, about $1,500. So they're not cheap, and then you have to buy all the equipment and stuff too. So it's not a cheap thing to do it, but the potential here is pretty good, and I've got a lot of fun species that I've been adding on the last few years, and just really enjoying these. So if you're thinking about tank size, I've got more than these, but these are really good for kind of just considering what you can possibly fit in to for a 3, 4, or 6-foot tank. And I've got all of these tanks pretty much, except for the one, pretty much stocked to the hilt. I don't think I'd put any more fish in any of these tanks right now. I think they're probably, concentration seems to be working out all right. Got some tanks in the back room that are more kind of strangely situated. Well, I guess I won't go into that. But anyway, but you're looking tank size, 3 foot, it's good for growing things that are young, probably not great long term. 4 foot, you can consider it more for long term, but you still have to be a little more careful. And hope you like this video, and if you have any questions, by all means put them down below. We're all learning in this hobby. Nobody here is knows everything. Never met a single person in this hobby that knows everything. So we're all learning, we're all trying our best, and we all make mistakes. But we can learn from each other, and I hope that if you have some recommendations for me, you won't be afraid to put them down below. If you don't like something, hey, I hear negative comments bring more followers than positive ones, so by all means put your negative comments. Love to hear them. I know I do things that are probably unorthodox, but I do like to create beautiful aquariums, and I really enjoy the fish. My aquascaping skills are still rudimentary at best, but I put some rocks and wood in there and some fake plants and hope it'll look good. But I really love the fish, and frankly I've got some beautiful fish here, and it's just such a fun thing to do. So have a great day. Happy Sunday.